Welcome to the Swirl to Investment News Network. News by and for the Swirl to Investment community. Hope you enjoy. Forgot to do the unmute button. How's everybody doing tonight? It's good to be here. I'm in Washington, D.C. Right now, I'm in the hotel room. If you look, there's like a kitchen behind me. This is a nice hotel, but anyway, that's the kitchen area. That's the room area. Show you real quick. But anyway, yeah, I want to do this news story tonight, and it's going to be concerning Black Lives Matter and them possibly going bankrupt if they're not already bankrupt right now. And then I'm going to talk about that. I got some news stories. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you a little slideshow of my trip in Washington, D.C. I put the little poll where I should go. I had to go to Washington, D.C. because, my son's leave is ended and he's got a special assignment in Washington, D.C. So I helped him make the long drive, and we traveled 1,900 miles. Okay. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm here for a short time, and, good stuff. Had a good time, and I go back home tomorrow, but I'm flying home, though. Heck with the driving. That stuff's crazy. But anyway, I'm glad everybody's here tonight. But let me get started. And if you want to see my slideshow afterwards, I'll show it to you. Got some few pictures, out on the National Mall, and went and seen the nation's capital. Wish I could have spent more time. And there's other places I wanted to see, but, time's limited. It is what it is. But anyway, without further ado, let me go ahead. All right, you guys seen the copyright disclaimer. If you need to see it again, just rewind. And get the first video up here. Okay. Sorry, I'm just taking some extra stuff off. All right.
But clearly there was at least one human.
All right. Here's the first news story here. Okay.
I don't know who's getting offended by colonials, but clearly there was at least one human, and so let's change everything. Black Lives Matter's national organization at risk of going bankrupt after its finances plunged millions into the red last year. Columnist and author Adam Coleman joins me now. Adam, great to have you here on set. Before we break down the numbers, just how shady are the finances of BLM?
Just as shady as Joe Biden's son in Burisma. I mean, that's looking at the whole situation reminds me of that. They have a PAC.
Okay, I might stop it right there. All right, you see here, it says Black Lives Matter runs, what is it, $8,559,748 deficit in 2021. That's money they lost, okay? They're running a huge deficit right now. And the thing of it is a lot of the money they can't account for. And, you know, a lot of stuff, people are upset with where the money went. And pretty much, from what I've seen, it looks like it went basically to the LGBTQ community. Most of it anyway. But a lot of, you know, the people behind it ended up getting rich, keeping the money for themselves, while Black people that donated don't know where the money went. It went to line people's pockets and the LGBTQ community, which, why didn't they just call it the LGBTQ Lives Matter instead of Black Lives Matter? But anyway, that's just my opinion. But let's go ahead and play some more of this.
They're transferring money from one account, from one organization to another. Basically, it looks like they're funneling money to either their family members to possibly get it themselves, but the entire situation looks incredibly shady.
And you have broken down the numbers to the penny. We're going to do a little bit more broad strokes here, but let's take a look. Total revenue, basically $8.5 million. Total expenses, $17 million. That is not good when you do the math, and let's do that math, and you can see the total deficit that they are running is about.
Okay, look at the numbers here. All right, look at the numbers here. $8,489,062 taken, and then $17,048,000 deficit. So more money's going out than that's coming in. Okay, so they're running into a big problem. Okay, so, you know, something's going on. So they're going, it looks like they're going bankrupt. When you have more money coming in than going out, you got a big problem.
Let's do that math, and you can see the total deficit that they are running is about $8.5 million. And on top of that, they had investment losses of about $10 million as well. So how did it get this bad? If for years, Adam, they've been on the receiving end of all this white guilt money, all of this corporate money, and in the year after George Floyd, they received $90 million. How did it get this bad in the red?
Just like any other organization where it gets this bad, they never had a plan. I think truly Black Lives Matter had no concept of having this much influx of money coming into them. If you look at their previous tax year before 2020, they had $0. So they went from 0 to 90 million. And for most people, if you win the lottery, a lot of people don't.
Okay, so 0 to 90 million. Let's make sense of this. Black Lives Matter went from 0 to 90 million, and now they're going bankrupt. And then where did the money go? It went to buying houses at a higher rate and passing on the money. A lot of money went to the LGBTQ, right? You know, a lot of the money went to the LGBTQ, and you know, but anyway, let's go ahead and continue.
Know how to handle that. So just using the best case scenario that they're not trying to be sleazy, but that they just completely mismanage it. So none of this surprises me.
I mean, just put the investment money in an index fund. You're not going to lose $10 million. I mean, you may not have crushed it like you're going into a VC or private equity, but you're not going to lose $10 million. To your point, though, Are they giving this money to family members to sort of funnel it to them and sort of be like, hey, we're hiring them as employees? One example, apparently, of that is Patrisse Culler's brother. And let's pop that up on the screen. Paul Culler's financial records. $1.6 million given to his security company, and then he received a yearly salary of $126,000 as head of security. Maybe it's me, but Adam, that seems like a lot of security to me.
Yes, that's a lot of security. I mean, she always says that she's under a lot of danger. And, you know, I guess security to her is extremely valuable to pay this much.
All right, let me stop right there. Okay, look. They're saying all this money for security, right? Paying her brother. Really, is that needed for all that security? I don't think she's really in danger. I don't think anybody's really trying to harm her. Maybe there are some people, and maybe you need a little security, but that's a lot of money. And why would you hire your brother? Wouldn't you hire the best person for the job for the security? I'm just saying. I think this whole thing was a big racket. Okay? There's already lawsuits going on where people want to know where the money is that they donated. Okay? And then there's other Black Lives entity organizations suing each other. Where did the money go? Okay? They've made millions off of white guilt and what happened with the George Floyd situation. And where'd the money go? Did black people benefit? Well, her brother did. He's a black man. I guess that makes sense. I guess, okay, one black man benefited. And an organization created by black women, lesbian women. But anyway, let's continue.
Money. I mean, this is the shady part that we're talking about. I think the rest of it, like, what did they actually do with the money? They gave it to leftist organizations that had nothing really to do with black people, to benefit black people, more so to benefit the LGBT community, which maybe there's a small sliver of black people who are affected by it, but there's no checks and balances to it.
Okay, here's my question, okay? A number of the dollars went to the LGBTQ community, right? But it was called Black Lives Matter. Why couldn't they make the LGBT community and raise money themselves? I mean, I'm just outside looking in. I have no say-so where their money goes, but I'm just asking the question. Why is it called Black Lives Matter when LGBTQ benefits from it? I'm just saying. I mean, where's the scholarship funds? Where is the turkey dinners in the inner city? Where is feeding the homeless and, you know, the scholarship funds for black children that don't have a lot of resources? I would think an organization like that would benefit black people. But from what I'm seeing, it don't look like it really did.
It just seemed haphazard. They have really no idea what they're doing, and it shows. So that's why it looks like they're slowly going under.
That is the overall point. What did Black America get from this? Like, what did they receive in terms of benefit?
Even their smaller organizations receive nothing from it. You know, their local Black Lives Matter chapters, right, they always complain about where are the resources, how do we manage this? And basically, no one benefits.
Okay, let me stop there. Black Lives Matter runs an $8,559,748 deficit in 2021. After all the millions that were made, they have a huge deficit. More money going out than coming in. But how many scholarship funds did they create? Who got the money? Was it Black Lives or LGBTQ? Was it Black Lives or family member Black Lives? I'm just saying.
Except for the people at the very top.
For me, the most telling thing was when Breonna Taylor's family came out and said, we've gotten absolutely nothing. And that was a case that BLM used to fundraise, and those individuals got nothing. Adam, this is a really fascinating insight.
Okay, here's a good point. What about Breonna Taylor? Okay, black woman unalived by police. Okay, just like George Floyd was unalived by police, but yet her family got nothing. What did they get? I think they got a GoFundMe page or something like that. But George Floyd got a golden casket. His family were millionaires. Millions were saved. The Democrat Party got some money out of this thing. Okay. Just saying. What about black people that donated? Where did their money go? In my opinion, this is a corrupt organization. The people behind the Black Lives Matter are a bunch of charlatans. They're fake. It ain't about helping out black people. It's about playing on the emotions of black people, making black men the victim, and exploiting that to get money out of people, to stir up emotions. And then to pocket the money themselves and send it to the money where they really wanted it to go. LGBTQ. Well, weren't the funders lesbians? Just saying. Why couldn't they make their own thing? I mean, answer my question. I mean, does anybody have an answer? Why? And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, why is it that LGBTQ attaches themselves to black people's struggle, black people's issues, right? Don't that sound funny? I mean, I'm a white guy. I don't understand. Can black people tell me if that's okay, or is that what you want? I'm just saying. But let's finish this off.
Into the grift that is known as BLM. Looks like it could be coming to an end. We appreciate your time and insight.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Okay. Fox News, thanks for the reporting on Black Lives Matter. That's just a video. They're headed for bankruptcy. They have more money going out than coming in, and they've made millions. Okay. And a lot of people are wondering, where did the money go? Okay. I don't think there was any scholarship funds. I could be wrong. I don't think there were any people being fed in the inner city. I could be wrong. I don't think any money went to housing communities of black people or anything that I see. I do know that some money went to the LGBTQ community, but they called it Black Lives Matter, right? So who was it for? Wouldn't it be LGBTQ Family Matters? I don't know. With, I don't know. I'm confused at this point with this thing. Well, not really. I know it's a corrupt organization, and you know what? It's going to go down. It's going to fail. All right? These people got rich. It's going to be short term. And the people that donated, guess what? Your money went to make certain individuals wealthy. And it didn't go to Black lives at all. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're doing great things behind closed doors. I doubt it. But anyway, I got another video I want to show you. And this is from Skynet. And this guy goes in and he tells it how he sees it. Okay? And anyway, and if you're a Black Lives Matter fan, you're probably going to find this offensive. Okay? So I'm just going to let you know right now. Okay? Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Here we go. All right.
So much awful.
All right. Shout out to skynews.com in Australia. Okay. All right. Let it rip.
Serious, terrible news about these days. It's grim. It's all just so terribly grim. So I thought this Sunday morning I might bring you a little good news. How about some Here's something for you. Black Lives Matter is going broke.
Yay!
Ooh.
Thank you, guys.
Good
Thank
guess.
you. Yes. Remember Black Lives Matter? The group that was behind the Summer of Love protests back in 2020 when the left wasn't just boycotting Target, but looting them and
Oh man, remember the Summer of Love? Oh yeah, just go into a Target, get some free stuff, tear up the place. A lot of love going on. Yeah, but they weren't just protesting Target; they were looting and burning it too. Anyway.
burning them down. The group that inspired so many great moments in Orwellian press coverage, including when a CNN reporter stood in front of a burning downtown.
Okay, there you go. There's a very fiery but mostly peaceful protest. Okay, so I mean that's what a peaceful protest looks like. You have a fire in the background, keep everybody warm, and a reporter there. Nobody's getting harmed there. Nothing's being damaged. And this is in Kenosha, Wisconsin. You remember that? The Summer of Love? Oh, yeah. But yeah. And they kept saying mostly peaceful. I don't know. That don't look like peaceful to me. Or mostly peaceful. Maybe they just, lit the fires just to confuse us, make us think something was happening. Anyway.
And reported on, quote, mostly peaceful protests. The group whose founders had a goal, which they later deleted from their website, to disrupt the nuclear family.
Okay, these are your Black Lives Matter leaders, okay? The goal is to disrupt the nuclear family. That family with the mother and father, husband and wife, and children. They want to get rid of that. That's their goal. A Marxist aim, okay? I don't know about you, but I don't want no Marxism, and I do want the nuclear family. But this is your leadership, Black Lives Matter. This is the Black Lives Matter leadership.
And whose founders, well, listen for yourself.
We actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
Okay, so let's put her back on here. Trained Marxist, okay? Why don't they call it Marxist Lives Matter? Okay? Or tear down of the nuclear family matters. All right? Sounds like they got other agendas than Black lives, if you ask me. I don't think they really care about Black lives. I think they care more about LGBTQ, Marxism, tearing down the nuclear family, tearing down the husband and wife and children. What kind of family do they want if you take out the nuclear family? What, single mothers? Single dads? Or let me guess, LGBTQ families. Is that what the agenda is? This is a bunch of BS. And people bought into this garbage. Cities across America were burned and destroyed. People were hurt, injured, and unalived over this garbage. Seriously? And let me guess. What's the ingredients for Black Lives Matter for all this to take place? A black man being unalived and a white police officer. Because if it's a black woman, nobody cares. None of the black women got money from this group that I know of. Breonna Taylor, they didn't give her no money, did they? What about Sandra Bland? What about her? What did Black Lives Matter come to her aid? Did they raise money for their families? Did they get the golden casket, the statue? Did their family become millionaires? What about black women that were unalived? Where is the protest and the uproar there? I'm just asking. Anyway, let's continue.
First, on sort of ideological theories.
Not just versed, but super versed in ideological theories. Yes, I mean, they must be a lot of fun at parties. But it turns out that this Marxist-Leninist vanguard front group for the Democrat Party, come on, let's call things what they are, right? Has run into Margaret Thatcher's own ironclad law that socialism doesn't work because eventually you run out of other people's money. And
oh, yeah, I totally agree. Socialism does not work. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going to offend some people, but when you run out of other people's money, it crashes. Margaret Thatcher said that. You know, she said that socialism, you know, it works just fine until you run out of other people's money. And I believe that. And I don't want to make this a political thing, but it really is a political thing. Black Lives Matter is a corrupt organization, okay? In my opinion, I don't think they did anything good for Black people. I think they made us more racially divided in our country. I think they exploited a situation to make money. And the money they got from their donators went to the pockets of the people that were in charge of the organization. It didn't go to Black people. I very seriously doubt it. I mean, you could tell me if I'm wrong, okay? And show me the evidence, but you know, with all the lawsuits going on and people wondering where their money went, because a lot of people believed in this Black Lives Matter thing. They poured their money, their heart and soul into this, thinking it's a good organization for Black people. But the only time they get stirred up is when it's a Black man and a white police officer and they lose their mind. But if it's a Black woman and police, it don't matter. If it's a Black woman and Black femicide, nobody cares in this organization. You can tell me I'm wrong and show me. But this is what I believe. And from the evidence I've seen, and where did the money go? Obviously, they can't handle money. They're like lottery winners. You know, a lot of lottery winners go bankrupt when they become millionaires. Why? Because they're not, you know, they're not good stewards of their money. They don't manage their money. They buy all the stuff that they could never have, and they go into a buying frenzy. You know, they waste money. They don't invest it right. They buy houses that are too big for what their needs are. Black Lives Matter did the same thing. And tell me, whether you're on the right and left, do you really think Black Lives Matter did a good job? If you donated, where did your money go? And what about the Black women that were unalived? Where's their golden casket? Where's their statue? Where's their family members that are millionaires right now? Because if it was Black Lives Matter, Black women would benefit also. I'm just saying. Am I wrong? I mean, whether you agree with me or not, whether you're on the right and left, I mean, seriously, you got to think about it. I'm just questioning the whole thing. And now they're going bankrupt. I knew they would fail anyway. Anything that is not right will fall. They didn't think this through. And the thing of it is when you're a nonprofit organization, donate a few dollars to a scholarship fund. You know, go to the inner city and feed hungry people. Do something. But I don't think they did any of that. They benefited their family members, the LGBTQ community. That's where their heart is, the leaders. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is all, but seriously.
Now they are going broke. The group's most recent tax filings have revealed that Black Lives Matter is bleeding cash and is now something like $8.5 million in the red. Not only that, somehow the grift just isn't happening.
8.5 million in the red. Okay? This is no longer money that's coming in from donations. This is in the red. They're losing money. What is it? Bad investments? Is it? Are they borrowing money on it? Because now they're in the hole. They owe money now. It's not a cash cow anymore.
For them anymore. The documents show that BLM raised $9.3 million last financial year. That's an 88% drop from 2021. And then compliance and transparency issues in several liberal states also forced BLM's shutdown of its online fundraising streams early last year. How's that for irony? Not only that, reports show that BLM, quote, has blown through two-thirds of the $90 million it raised in the wake of George Floyd's death in the summer of 2020.
Wow, they blew through $90 million that they raised. Did these people have an accountant? Did they? Who watched the money? How do you blow through that much money? Now I understand they took they bought big houses and they sold it for more than the market value and they had some scheme going on, but how do you blow through $90 million? I mean, if you don't know how to manage money, you can do it, sure. But it just blows my mind. They went through that much money. This organization is going away. It's going bankrupt. It'll disappear. Now there are probably some offshoots of Black Lives Matter that will rise up and use the name. And the next cop shooting, if it's a black man and a white cop that does it, then it'll stir up things. And look, I'm not saying we shouldn't protest or nothing and when things go wrong, but come on. Where are the protests for black women? That's what I want to know. Because I see people protesting for black men. I see the whole nation in an uproar. But what about the black women? Shouldn't that be a question? I don't think anybody can answer that question. But anyway, let's continue.
And how they blew through it. It's not hard to figure that BLM was little more than, to be kind, a sort of freelance reparations operation, with its founders, among other things, using donor funds to build a multi-million-dollar property empire, which the New York Post...
Okay, look at that. Black Lives Matter. Marxist BLM founder racks up $1 million property empire with at least 4 homes. Wow.
Memorably christened Black Lives Matters. Right. Love our friends at the New York Post. But who could blame them? After all, remember Patrisse Cullors, who we saw before saying she was a trained Marxist? Well, apparently she found all those complicated things like donation disclosure forms and financial statements, known as Form 990s in the U.S., all a bit triggering.
First of all, number one, I actually did not know what 990s were before all of this happened.
It's confusing.
Okay, so why didn't you hire a lawyer? I mean, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. Let me tell you, if I had that much money, I would be hiring people to explain these tax laws, to explain the forms, to explain how much money I got to donate. Because look, you're taking millions from people and you don't know what that form is? Well, you better find out.
Using.
So part of the opportunity here is to educate our folks. Like, Something's being weaponized against us that many people don't even know and honestly don't care about.
I didn't know about them until they started asking us for them for COVID relief funds. I said, you need my 9.
Okay, listen to what she said. Things have been weaponized against them. No, you're playing the victim. You failed at your mission. Okay, you had millions of dollars from black people that you say that you're for, and you say Black Lives Matter, but you wasted all that money and you didn't know what the form was. Oh my God! Well, okay, no problem. But now your organization is going down the drain. You're in the red. You're going bankrupt. You will disappear. Then what? You know, they're probably laundering money into some other account, sending it to family members or other organizations and hiding the money so they can have it later on. You know, there's probably some scheme going on. But this could have been a cash cow that lasts forever. Think about it. The biggest money maker, in my opinion, in America is racism, white supremacy. That's the biggest money maker. Because people get emotional, people get angry. A lot of things happen. And if you could play this long enough, you can be a millionaire. These women that created this organization could be millionaires forever. If they had lawyers that they put in place to manage the money and tell them where they need to put the money, what they need to donate in, how they need to comply with the tax laws. And you don't have to give them much of the money if you just put it in the right places. Because I'm telling you, this money would last as long as you can manage it. But with the schemes, buying the houses, spending the money, and then you're not even showing that you're giving it back to the community. So, you know, you got black people that believed in you and your ideology. Now they're coming after you because they don't know where the money went. Just saying.
90. Had to call the accountant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the accountant handled that. Like, I don't know what that is. It is such a trip now to hear the word, the term 990s. I'm like, ugh, it's like triggering.
Oh, wow, it's triggering. Okay. Let me tell you something, young lady. You know who Oprah is? She knows damn well what those forms are. You know what? She knows where her money's going. You know what? Let me tell you, Oprah, one thing about her, she knows money. And that's why she's still a millionaire or a billionaire. And this clown is going to be broke. Your organization's going down. And it's your fault. Because you don't even know what the form is and you're triggered. Okay. Say bye-bye to your money. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Just saying. Some people are rich because, you know, they earn it. Some people create something and they get lucky like these women did, but then they don't know how to manage the money and they lose it. It's like giving somebody $1 million that's never had it. Most people will go through that $1 million like a hot knife through butter. And truth be told, most people in America, well, in the world, do not know how to manage money, especially people that have never had it. They'll lose it. And that's what's happening here. Well, you thought this was going to last forever? It don't. But there was no plan. There was no organization. And she's like, oh, I didn't know what that form was. Well, dummy, you should have figured it out. Don't you know you got to deal with the IRS? Don't you know your donators are going to want to know where that money's going? Wouldn't you have a program where you say, hey, the money that's come in, we created some scholarships. But no. Anyway, let's continue.
And given that they're admitted communists, I suppose we're all lucky that that's all that they found triggering. But as for all those who lost everything in the riots that BLM inspired and provoked and egged on, well, that's Marxism for you. Get with the...
Let me say something here, and this is going to be triggering, okay? During the Black Lives Matter protest and everything that happened, okay? How many cities were destroyed? How many people lost their lives? There were a number of black women that were unalived protesting for George Floyd. There were property that was damaged. There were business owners, mostly black, that lost everything for this protest. There are stores and shops that won't be built in black neighborhoods because they're high risk because of this stuff. When you protest and you destroy your neighborhoods and you destroy stores and all this stuff, you're cutting your own throat. You really are. But anyway, I know some people are going to be mad at me for talking about this. I don't care. I'm going to tell you the truth. Black Lives Matter is a corrupt, evil organization. I believe that with all my heart. And let me tell you something. I don't think they've done anything for black people except exploited black people. And think about all the women that were unalived. Yes, even by police officers like George Floyd. Where's their protest? Where's their golden casket? Where's Breonna Taylor's golden casket? Where's the funding given to her family? I'm just saying. And that makes me believe that it's actually black men's lives matter by lesbians for LGBTQ. Because that's who got the most of the money, LGBTQ. But anyway, you know, black people were exploited again. And they bought into it because it said Black Lives Matter. And you know what? They were powerful. They raised millions. And you know what? They convinced white people to come out and say their life didn't even matter and to say Black Lives Matter. Or if your life mattered, you had to say that Black Lives Matter first. You had to make them superior to you instead of being equal and saying that all of us matter in this world, that all of our lives count. You weren't allowed to do that. It's pretty powerful to get convinced people to say that. It's pretty powerful how much money they made and how fast they made it. They put our nation in a frenzy over this. And tell me what good came from it? What problem was solved? Just saying. My personal opinion, I'm glad they're going bankrupt. Because they were fake anyway. They weren't for black people. They were out to make money. And they exploited black people. Tell me I'm wrong. And if you donated, tell me what you got from it. Serious. My opinion, and I know I'm going to make people mad. Some people might leave my channel after I say this. But I'm going to be honest with you. Black Lives Matter is an evil organization, came from the deep pits of hell. And they were created to divide us as a nation, to promote victimhood, and even exploit their own people to make a fast buck. And I don't believe they cared anything about black people, except how much money they can get out of them. But anyway, I mean, what do you think? Do you think they're good? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think these news reportings were wrong? Or do you think Black Lives Matter, stood for justice and fought for black people? I don't think they did at all. In fact, I think they did more damage to black people than they intended to. And where did that money go? At least the Black Panthers went out and had a turkey dinner out in the inner city. At least they tried something. These guys, what did they do? Except for the LGBTQ. I'm sure the LGBTQ community is happy they got some money from Black Lives Matter. Anyway. Okay, let me see here. Let me add this.
This pen dispensary.
Okay, guys, I got another story I want to show you real quick. And this is a story that happened. And these were vending machines that were put out, and they were disguised as pen vending machines. But what they really were was crack pipe vending machines. I kid you not. Vending machines selling crack pipes. Yeah. Okay. Listen to the story. You're going to find this amazing.
This pen dispensary knocked to the ground by an angry town resident who called in Brookhaven officials to lug it away, furious at whoever installed vending machines across the community filled with apparent drug paraphernalia.
It's a crack pipe. It's a ceramic glass pipe disguised as a pen dispenser that you put $2 in quarters. What was amazing is the audacity of the people that did this.
Audacity indeed, say homeowners in Coram and Medford, where at least 3 coin-operator dispensers masquerading as innocent pen machines seemingly appeared overnight in state public rights-of-way, adjacent to malls and bus stops, now littered with pipe cases and lighters, luring the susceptible.
They look like they're on some. They're like kind of crazy, so.
Using that vending machine.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should, the town should offer some kind of help for them.
To see someone come out and try and take advantage of individuals who are out here that we're trying to help, it's upsetting.
Town officials said at first parents thought pen dispensers were installed for the first day of school. Then social media exploded with word they were crack pipes. Selling a glass pipe or pen is not illegal, but installing machines without permit and site plan is a code violation. Preying on children.
I've never bought a pen that came with filters that would be used. I've also not seen many glass.
Isn't that crazy? And this happened in New York somewhere, but they made vending machines selling pens. Well, that would be a red flag. Whoever bought a pen from a vending machine? That don't even make sense. But they were glass and they had filters and it looked like a pen. So you could go to this vending machine and it was a coin vending machine. So probably $1.50, maybe $2. I don't know. However they had it set up, but you could buy your own crack pipe. And it looked like a pen, I guess, to hide what they were selling. And, you get your crack, get your pipe. Hey, you're all set, right? This is crazy. But they did them all over, and they cemented them in, too. And it's not illegal to sell glass or pens, but they do have to have a permit. So that's where they're going to get them. If they find out who did this, which I'm sure they will.
Glass pens. So we're pretty clear what the intent is.
Suffolk police and the district attorney are now investigating.
It looks like a pen, and then you can see when you take it apart, now you have what would be the pipe, the screen to separate the drugs, and then smoke the other end like that.
Look at that. They got the pin and they got the filters and to separate the drugs, and you could smoke it, and it's set up like a pipe. Wow. No wonder we're in trouble. And wow. But there you go, guys. There are crack pipe vending machines now.
Law enforcement receiving tips. So far, no one has been linked to the dispensers. A bogus phone number on the back. The machines were cemented in place with concrete. From Coram, Long Island, Jennifer McLogan, CBS 2 News.
Anybody with information on who installed the vending machines in Coram and Medford is asked to call the police in Suffolk County.
Okay. Wow. So this is what's going on. Just to recap on everything, Black Lives Matter is going bankrupt. No surprise. Look, these people don't know how to manage money anyway. It wasn't for Black people, in my opinion. It was for the LGBTQ. The women that were in charge were lesbians, part of the LGBTQ. And my thing is, why couldn't they just make an organization called LGBTQ and raise their money that way? But you know what? They wouldn't raise as much money. Black Lives Matter is a cash cow. They can look, and if you want to make money, seriously, if you can take a situation and make it look racist, okay? If it is racist, make it more racist than what it is. And if it's not, make it to where it appears to be. Stir up people's emotions. Talk a lot about racism, white supremacy, and play the victim very well. And you know what? You'll make millions if you know how to do it right. Black Lives Matter is the prototype, I think, for the future when it comes to making money. And let me tell you, racism, you talk about white supremacy and racism, you'll stir up so many people. Look, and if you appear to be fighting this, they'll give you money, hand over fist. In my opinion, racism ain't what they make it out to be. Does it exist? Yes. Is it as big as they say? No. I think it's a bunch of BS. Most white people I'm around are not racist. In fact, they're trying to come together with Black people. A lot of white people are. But, we got to hold that white supremacy thing, and we get called that for anything we do. And that's most white people. I believe that. I think the racism thing is a bunch of BS. It's there, but it's so small and minute. Look, these hate groups that people complain about, the Klan, 6,000 nationwide out of 350 million people, mostly white, and they can only have a few thousand members. Look, white supremacy is dying. It's on life support. It's not even a factor. People play on it because it stirs emotions. It gets people riled up. It gets people thinking about the sins of the past and not thinking about what's going on now in the future. That's what I think it is. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I live in an island. Maybe I got it good and I don't see the rest of the world, but I think it's all a bunch of BS. But anyway, Black Lives Matter is going down the tubes, okay? And it's not white supremacy taking them down. It's poor management of money, okay? Now they have more going out than coming in. They're millions in debt, okay? It was short-lived. They made millions. Now it's gone. And you just seen one of the leaders say, hey, I never knew what it was, and it triggered her. Why, if you're dealing with millions of dollars, and I'm going to give you guys advice, okay? And I'm not a millionaire, but whenever you deal with money and it deals with the government and a nonprofit organization, you better know the law, okay? And you better, put the right presentation, or you better make people believe that their money they give you is going to the right place, okay? And they could have kept most of that money, and just like I said, Make a scholarship fund to some school somewhere. Put some black child through college, okay? Have, around Thanksgiving, have it, give out free turkeys in downtown Chicago or Detroit or somewhere, where people are suffering, some inner city. And that don't take millions of dollars, and you would pocket most of it, but you would be the good guy, and you would show that you actually love black people and you're doing something for them. Taking that money and giving it to LGBTQ and buying a mansion, that does not give the appearance that you're really believe in your name. Does it? I'm just saying. Now, me personally, I know they're a corrupt organization. I know they're full of crap. They're exploiting black people for cash. And millions of black people bought off into that. They bought off in that we're in such a racist society. We need Black Lives Matter to fight. And you know what? Nothing was solved. In fact, you lost your money. It's gone. And if you donated, sorry for you, but it didn't go to black people, except the black lesbians and the LGBTQ. Is what it is. But anyway, that's my opinion, guys. I'm going to show you some pictures. Me and my son, we went out to the National Mall today. We didn't spend a lot of time because we're pressed for time. And the reason I went to Washington, D.C. is because my son's got an assignment here, and he was on leave, so I helped him make the long drive. 1,900 miles from New Mexico, where I live, to Washington, D.C. So I didn't want him to drive alone, so I helped him out, because it's better to go two people and, take turns driving for safety reasons. So that's why I'm in Washington, D.C. The other places I put on there, those are places I'm going to go to. Los Angeles, I go there all the time. I got family there, so I'm always in California. Dallas, yeah, that's my second home. I'm always there. Seattle, I never been. I want to go, okay? And I'm going to get there. But I put those things on there, but I had to go to Washington, D.C. And I got to take a look at the nation's capital. And I'll show you some pictures. I didn't take any videos. I didn't really have much time. I took one video of a protest. I'm going to show you it. Well, if you call it that. But anyway, here's a picture here. This is me. And I didn't put my son's picture on that for security reasons due to his assignment. So this is me in front of the White House. And this was earlier today. Okay. They got it caged around. Security's tight. To get in, you need to have a scheduled tour, which, you got to sign up for it. You got to plan it out. But anyway, this is the White House. Okay. This here is the Lincoln Memorial. All right. That thing is huge. Went there. And here is down in the right ahead is the Lincoln Memorial. And you see there's a lot of people walking around. In here, there's where the water is, there's ducks around there and stuff. But it was a nice day. We walked around, saw the sights. And then on the other side, there is the Washington Monument. And that thing is really tall. They said like at one time it was the tallest building in the world, but of course it's not anymore. But anyway, and then we went to here. This is the Smithsonian Institute Museum, and you can go there in Washington. You can it's free to go in. You can look around. They got like dinosaur bones. They got like bones of different animals. They got like different crystals. They got like an exhibit for each little thing. It's really nice. Look around. And like I said, it's free to go in. let me see here. And I got some more pictures on that, but that's the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. This here is the Vietnam War, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And this is a famous statue they got in front of the memorial. And then when you go here, this wall here has all the names of all the soldiers that died during the Vietnam War. And it goes around here. It's a nice memorial. Here they got American flags at the bottom, and people will leave old pictures and stuff. It's a very nice memorial, a humbling place. These men and women gave the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. And Vietnam veterans were the most disrespected veterans ever of any war. Okay. And it's sad what they went through, but I seen families here that would take a paper and like a crayon and scratch out the family's names, and kind of an emotional thing. But it's a nice memorial. Me and my son walked around there, and it's really nice. Okay. And here, okay, this is a crude video. We were in a hurry. I didn't know if I was allowed to videotape this, but there's a protest going on, okay? Well, I don't know if it's a protest, but a clash of beliefs, right? What's going on here, and this is in front of the White House, right? What's going on here is there's like on one side, there's Christians talking about Jesus and how to be saved and how to be born again and God's love. And then this guy in the picture in the background, he's like on a bicycle laying on the ground. He's got a little wagon. And it says that the Bible is sinful, and he's countering what they're saying. It's like a back and forth. He's got a megaphone. They got a PA system, and and people are walking around like it's not even happening. It was kind of a weird thing, but anyway, let me show this here real quick.
Find out what hell feels like before you decide a loving God would do that to others forever.
Okay, see him on the ground at the bicycle? He's yelling at the Christians on the other side, saying that the Bible's evil and that LGBTQ is good and it's about population control. But anyway.
Lesbian from the darkness. You worship psychopathy. You worship parents. You worship everything that's not American.
Jesus Christ died on the cross for the transgender individual, to save the transgender individual from the pain and confusion of their sexual dysphoria and confusion. That is
dependable, believable country is by telling each other the truth.
Love that Almighty God has for the LGBTQ community. And Jesus said, whoever comes to me, I will in no wise cast down. If you were abused as a boy and you became a homosexual as a result of that child molestation, Jesus invites you to come to him for the healing from the pain of past child abuse and for the victory and power over the sin.
Okay, so if you see here, it's saying repent, sin, it's basically come to Jesus over on one side, and the other side where the bicycle guy, he's like laying on the ground and he's like yelling in a megaphone while they're preaching the gospel. It was a difference in opinion. And I think it's because of the LGBTQ month or whatever. This guy is for it on the ground, and these are Christians that say it's a sin, it's not right in the Bible, and it's like a back and forth. And I mean, it was really loud going back and forth, and people were walking around like ignoring it, like it wasn't even there. And if I would have stayed longer, I would have got out my if I had my camera equipment, I would have videotaped and make a reaction on this. This would have been, a gold thing to do. But, it was quick. It happened quick. We were on our way out. But anyway, that's a little bit of our trip. Okay. But that's in front of the White House. And you could go protest there or say whatever you want, free speech, right? I think you got to get a permit, from the authorities around there and let them know what you're doing. And, but people protest around there all the time. But I don't think it was a protest. It was like Christians talking to people about Jesus, and then a gay man talking about LGBTQ. That's what it was. And it was like they were preaching and he was like attacking what they're saying, in my opinion. Okay. But yeah, that's a little bit of our trip here. But yeah. And I got some other pictures. Let's see here. This is the museum there. Very nice. They had like skeletal remains of like fish, different animals, dinosaurs even. Like this one here, that's an elephant, but here there's like bones here. And let me see if I can get one of the dinosaurs here. Oh, here's one. I thought I had it. Oh, no, that's not it. Here it is. Okay. Here's a dinosaur here, and there's some in the background. And you can go and look around. It's free to go in. And then they have like a bookshop, a gift shop in there, a place to eat. I wouldn't recommend going there to save money. It's pretty expensive, but any tourist thing is. But anyway, that's just my trip to Washington DC. And like I said, I'm in a hotel right now. But my thing is I wanted to do the story on the Black Lives Matter. It's going downhill. It's disappearing. I don't know if it'll totally go away. There'll probably be some offshoots of it. Somebody will take the name and run with it when something else happens. I guarantee it. We got an election coming up. I think something's going to happen. There's going to be protests going on and things are going to get stirred up again. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's just a peaceful year and we just go into election, vote, and be done with it. I don't want no more. I hope there's no George Floyd situation and Black Lives Matter deal and looting and all that stuff. Hopefully it's a peaceful election year, but I got my doubts. But anyway, but that was my story I wanted to cover. But look, if you're ever, and look, I don't think they're going to last because I don't think God blessed Black Lives Matter. I mean, first of all, and I don't know how you feel about faith in God and stuff, but in my opinion, I'm going to be honest. I think anything that goes against God's word is going to fail. Okay. And, these are lesbians. Okay. Whatever your opinion is. Okay, fine. But here's my thing. If we're going to be fair about this, okay, and they want to be in the LGBTQ, why in the world do they have to attack the nuclear family? Why do they have to try to destroy a marriage between a man and a woman? Okay. And these leaders said that that's what they wanted to do, to spread Marxism and tear down the nuclear family. Why in the world would you want to destroy that? That is the backbone of society. That is what creates our nation, our communities, a man and woman coming together in marriage, raising their children, teaching them right, building stability, legacy. Why would you want to destroy that? You want more single mothers that have everything on their plate and deadbeat dads that just go around impregnating women? Or are only LGBTQ only ones allowed to have a family? I'm just questioning their thoughts. I mean, and if we're going to say live and let live, you know, you do what your thing, I'll do mine, and we'll live in harmony, right? Because that's what's been preached to us, right? From the LGBTQ, from the gay community. Oh, we just want to live our lives and be left alone. Okay, then why are you messing with the nuclear family? I'm just saying. Because you don't believe in it? Then I can go after you because I don't believe in what you're doing. Am I right or wrong? I have my beliefs because of my faith. Because what's in the scripture. I don't just make this stuff up. Or I'm not doing stuff just because it feels good, so I'm going to do it. No. This is what I believe is right. But anyway, the link's up there if you want to come up. If not, I'm going to close soon. But my whole thing here is to tell you the truth. It's not, I didn't come on here to bash Black Lives Matter. I came here to tell the truth. Okay? Because Black lives do matter. Okay? They do. Black people are people. Okay? And human life is valuable. But all of us matter. All of us count in this. Right? We're human beings. And we should love each other equally. We shouldn't hold one group over the other. Okay? And this stuff that they say that your life don't matter unless you say Black Lives Matter, that's racism. Okay? And it's wrong. White supremacy and black supremacy are both evil. It is. None of us count more than the other. We're all human beings in God's eyes. We're all souls. God made us different for a reason, because he likes people that look different. But we need to love each other. And we need to, do what's right. Hold people accountable. And I'm sick and tired of white guilt where you can't speak your mind and say what you really think, that you can't tell the truth. I think Black Lives Matter is corrupt. It's evil. It's awful. It didn't do what it said it was supposed to do. Now, people say, whoa, you don't like black people? No, I love black people. I just don't like that organization because it didn't do nothing for black people or anybody. It actually did damage to black people, white people, and everybody. It divided us even more. That's my opinion. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. And I know people ain't going to agree with me, and that's fine. But I'm not going to be silent and sugarcoat it and lie to you. But anyway, I want to talk about something too. Hey, guess what? I went and seen a movie, right? I went and seen The Little Mermaid. Check this out. Okay. My granddaughter loves mermaids, right? And my daughters you know, they wanted to see it too. And my granddaughter, I didn't want to go see it. I was like, I don't want to see a mermaid. I mean, come on. But my granddaughter wanted me to see it. So I said, okay, I'll go watch it. And, you know, she was happy. And we went and seen it. And I will say this, okay? The young lady that played the mermaid did an awesome job. I mean, you know, she's beautiful, has a great voice, and that's why they picked her. And I don't know what the uproar was about a Disney fairy tale movie and a black woman playing the part. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I thought it was a good idea. I mean, she played the part well, did an outstanding job. It was actually a good movie. And, you know, the story plot and what I liked most of all about the movie. Okay. And Disney's not not a real holy type great organization, right? But I think the way the movie was put together and the interracial vibe it gave to me was spectacular. And let me tell you something. For people in our community, the interracial community, you know, black women and white men, we have our own community. We do, right? And I seen this in the movie and they promoted it. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It should be promoted. People finding love regardless of how you look, right? You know, the mermaid was a black lady. The man she saved on the ship was a white guy, and his parents, and I hope I'm not giving it away if you haven't seen it, but his mother was black and I think the father was like Spanish or something, but he was, I guess, adopted. They rescued him out at sea or something. But anyway, but I just liked the whole vibe. It was like I see in my world, you know, I see me, my wife, and my children. And it's got like an interracial setting. And even in my wife's family, you know, her brother married a white woman. So it's like my world kind of in a way. And it promoted it in a positive way. And people say, well, that's the agenda. They're trying to get everybody to interracially procreate. No, that's what people are doing because people are finding love. They're curious about people that are different. And a lot of people are attracted to people that look different. You know, it's exciting. It's, you know, you're curious, right? Nothing wrong with that. But, and I think that's a positive way if you do it the right way. If you swirl it, it's good, it's beautiful, but swirl to investment. Do it for love and marriage. Don't do it just because you want to see what it's like. Do it for real love, you know? And I just thought that movie, the way they presented it was awesome. I liked how they put it together. Like I said, I wasn't motivated to go see a mermaid. I'm sorry. I'm not. But my granddaughter talked me into it, and I says, okay, you want me to see it, I'll see it for you. And but I just kind of analyzed the movie. I seen it, and I don't know what the uproar is. Who cares? I mean, but it was put together really well. And I tell you, it was very nice. And but anyway, if you haven't seen it, go see it. I hope I didn't ruin it for you. But anyway, that's the positive on the story. I know the Black Lives Matter look. I always thought they were corrupt. I thought it was evil. And when I talk to people that says, and here's the kicker, tell me what's wrong with saying all lives matter. Tell me what the evil is in that. People say, well, you're taking away from black people their lives mattering. No, I think we're all in this together. Is that wrong? Is that racist, what I just said? Is it racist to say all lives matter? I never got that. I never understood that. Don't we all count in this? I mean, seriously. If I say we're all equal, is that racist? Or do I got to lift Black lives first and then, it trickles down to me? Is that how we're doing it? Do we just reverse the racism? And somebody said there's no such thing as reverse racism. It's either racism or it's not. I think that's probably the way to put it. Just my thoughts, guys. Tell me what you think. And if you got something angry you want to say, email me. We'll talk about it. I'll come on and we'll have a video discussion if you want. I'll give you my Google number. We'll talk. Let me know. I want to know what you think. Okay? Let me know how you feel on this. Manipulation. But let me know. But anyway, that's my thought on this whole thing. And honestly, I'm going to be honest. I'm glad that they're going through this. They've exploited people too much for too long. And, I don't think the right people got the money. I think the only ones that did was George Floyd's family and Black Lives Matter, and the DNC got some money, but other than that, who got paid? The founders of it, LGBTQ, got some money. Don't like movies that race swap. Okay. Are you talking about The Little Mermaid? Because it was a white little girl that was the mermaid? I don't think that's a problem. In a fairy tale movie, I don't care. I think in a movie that I think a movie that actually is based on a real true person, I think they should keep that, specifically who they are. And there have been movies that have been played by white people that were actually black people in real life and vice versa. I think maybe we should keep that truthful. A fairy tale, a mermaid, I don't care about that. To me, it's like, it's a mermaid. If you don't like the black mermaid, watch the white one. I don't know. To me, I don't care about fairy tale movies. I don't care about stuff like that. Maybe it might be some problems if the Black Panther was a white guy or something. That would create. What would happen, you think, if they did that? Let's say they made Tom Cruise the next Black Panther or something. There'd probably be riots in the street over that. Call him the Pink Panther. Yeah. Movies that race swap. Okay. I personally, I don't care. I thought the young lady did a good job. I think, and I think young black women being put in leading roles and put it in there in a positive light, I think that's good. It should be done. But yeah, there are people that think the mermaid, they shouldn't have done that. And I don't think that was their intention. From what I've seen, they were saying that they picked her because of her voice, because she had a sweet voice and can sing. I think that's what they picked her for. And, but maybe they wanted to mix it up. I know they were trying to do a James Bond, making him a black guy. That British actor, they were talking about making him the next, I forget his name. He's a black guy, making him the next James Bond. Then now it's a black woman, I guess. I don't know. Maybe some things should be left alone, but the mermaid, I don't care. It's a fairy tale. Well, James Bond is too, really. It's a fictional character. But I kind of like the white guy. But anyway. What was I going to say? Okay. Rhonda E's got he got a lot to say. Okay. I'm also tired of movies with biracial and mixed women having lead roles being the love interest. This is why I don't support black movies with black men in there. Okay, maybe there's a point there. Maybe not so many biracial, maybe more black women, truly black women in leading roles. Do you think there's a bias in black movies where they get light-skinned black women and not the darker skin? Maybe there's something there. Maybe is that what you're talking about? Yeah, and maybe they ought to do more leading roles with black women, like black women, dark skinned black, maybe like Angela Bassett type, Viola Davis, And I'm not saying make it skin tone specific, but maybe it does seem like, and maybe it does seem like lighter skinned black women get more leading roles. Is that a thing? It appears to be that way. Maybe they need to work on that. But I mean, Angela Bassett, she's dark skinned. Viola Davis, very good actors with leading roles. The Mermaid thing, I don't know. I look at it as a fairy tale. And you know what? If they made the next Mermaid an Asian woman, I wouldn't really care. I mean, I just, whatever. But I think black women in more positive roles is needed. Just to protect the black woman's image and quit giving black women the image like a lot of roles that Tiffany Haddish plays. And nothing against her. I like Tiffany Haddish, but I think, playing the crazy over-sexualized black woman, I don't think that's a good image to put on black women. It's not. Or any women, it's not. But black women are given that image, like they're crazy, over-sexualized, and just loud and all that stuff. And that's not the real black woman. I don't like images like that. I don't like when they do that. I mean, how about more roles of black women in the corporate world, women of faith, women, that are, good mothers and wives and doing things. Maybe we can show more of that. It just seems like the roles that black women get are just, I don't know. But that's Hollywood, though. They think that's what sells. And when the men in your community tells the world that's how you are, people start believing it. Even though it's a lie, they're going to believe it. But how about like women in roles like the Cosby Show? You remember Claire Huxtable? She was beautiful. She was intelligent. She had it together. I mean, that was the ultimate woman, if you think about it, right? I remember watching that as a teenager, right? And believe it or not, white people, we watched the Cosby Show a lot. We did. We loved it. But I fell in love with that woman. I was like, oh my God, that's the ultimate woman. She's beautiful. She's loving and supportive, and she's highly educated, and she just got it together. She's professional. She's traditional. She's just everything. That's the black woman I see. that's the black women I've been around. And those are the black women I love that just, but that's the truth. Why can't we show the truth? But instead we show some woman acting crazy at a club and getting half naked and over sexualized and like, what? You know, I saw that, I forget what the name of the movie was. It was with Tamika Sumter and Tiffany Haddish, right? Tamika Sumter was the professional black woman. That's the image I like, right? Professional black woman, has it together. She's very successful. She's beautiful. She's just doing her thing. And then you have Tiffany Haddish, got out of prison and having sex with some guy in the parking lot and acting crazy and just, I'm like, no. But people think that's funny. I didn't think it was funny. I watch movies like that and people laugh and I'm in disgust because you know what? I see these people making these movies and society giving the finger to black women and just running their image in the dirt. And it's like they're attacking my wife and my daughters. And, you know, my daughters are biracial, but it's like they're still attacking them. And it's like, when are we going to get more positive images? Because I tell you, you see more positive images on black women, that will sell more money than the ones with the craziness. But I don't know. But the good news is they're starting to show more images, positive images of black women, you know, in the corporate world and being successful. You know, but there's still that negative stereotype. There's still those generalizations that we think these people are like this. We think black women are like, they're not. I think I met one woman that acts like the roles that Tiffany Haddish plays. And all the black women I've known one that acts like that. The other black women I know are more professional, more traditional, more loving. But that's what we get from Hollywood. But anyway, I was just telling my thing on, you know, The Little Mermaid, and maybe you guys don't think putting that interracial spin on it. I like it. It's I don't know. It kind of reminds me of my life, my family. You know, we're in a biracial family. Me and my wife, you know, she's black and I'm white. My brother-in-law, he's black, his wife's white, and it's just like, and our kids are biracial kids, and it's like, this is real life. And most people don't live the life I live, and guys in our community, you know, the interracial marriage that we, you know, a lot of you are married interracially, have families, biracial children, and most people don't have that we got. We have something special. We have something that's working, and with our dynamic, black women, white men, we're the most successful. We're the most loving couple in America. Think about it. We love more than everybody else. We're actually doing it right. We're actually making things work. We're actually living by God's word through marriage, most of us. Seriously. And why is that? They say our cultures are so different. We're so different. We can't get along and it ain't going to work. And I've been told that my whole life, how my marriage won't work. 29 years later, and I still get idiots that say, oh, well, you're fetishizing her. Yeah, 29 years? Really? I tell you what, if all you got is lust, it ain't going to last. It ain't going to last a year. It ain't going to last. No, what I got is true love. They don't want to admit that. Yeah, and I don't like those stereotypes. A black woman is not crazy over sexualized goofball. She's not emotionally crazy where she's loud all the time. That's not. Now, maybe you'll find one here and there. Okay, there are crazy people in every group, but black women are not that. They're professional, they're loving, they're traditional. The most beautiful woman is the black woman. You know why she's the most beautiful woman? Because she leads the way in everything. Let me explain. Okay. I will say she's the most beautiful. They'll say, well, that's bias. You just like black women. Okay. Black woman's the most educated. You can't lie. Numbers don't lie. Black women are the most loving. Well, in the community, black community, they're the least married, most divorced. Yeah, but the men will not marry them. Okay. Only 27% are married. Okay. But when other races of men marry black women, there's instant success. Okay. Not all. Okay. So don't say, well, I know a white man and a black woman, their marriage didn't work 2 days. Yeah, they're out there. But statistically, they're the most successful. Okay. When white men marry black women, do you know our marriage rates go up? You know our marriages last longer? Did you know we have more wealth as white men when we marry black women? Did you know that? That's statistically true. It's been proven. And black women are the most spiritual women. They are the most women of faith. Tell me I'm wrong. And those of us that marry black women, we've tapped into a blessing like no other. We've actually, and I say this, we've actually tapped in a love that comes from God. And I'm telling you, I love black women. I have a mountain of love for black women and the utmost respect for black women. Black women have led me in a way that you would never even guess. Black women have led me to my walk with God. Yes. Black women have shown me the most love. Black women have shown me how to give love and receive love. And I learned this as a child. And that's before I even looked at her body and how she looks. And then when I got older and the attraction came on, when you grow into a man, it all came together. And I was able to marry my wife and do it the right way. And I'm blessed. But we don't show those images. We don't talk about that. We don't tell the truth. When I would explain how I feel about black women, and I've done this when I was a teenager. Even when I was little, I thought black women were amazing. And I would say it. People thought I was so crazy. They thought I was just weird somehow. But as the years gone by, they see how my marriage is. They see how my kids are doing. They don't question my decisions now. In fact, they want to know how to get to where I'm at. They want to know, how do I get a black woman when they told me I should have never got one? Tell you. But we don't want to tell the truth, do we? Because that would create more interracial marriages. That would get us out of that segregated mindset. We'd actually come together in love instead of skin tone. We'd actually love each other for what's inside our heart instead of how we look on the outside. We would be looking for the blessing count instead of the body count, we would become husbands and fathers instead of pimps and players. Right? And that, on that being said, what I think's really destroying the black community, and I'm going to get hate from this, and I don't care. It's the men. It's their ego. It's putting themselves first instead of the women and children. It's more desirable to be a pimp and player than a husband and father. And when you have that mindset as a man, you have no chance. And then these same jokers will promote being a player, promote body counts instead of blessing counts. They just destroy their whole community. And they force black women to date and marry out. The divestment community is growing. Divestment, and you'll say, well, most black women aren't into that. Yeah, that's true. But it's growing every day. The interracial marriage between black women and white men is growing every day. You say, well, it's just a little bit. Yeah. Well, interracial marriages have grown 400 to 500% since the Loving versus Virginia. Okay. And of course, it's going to grow because it made it legal in all 50 states to interracially marriage, right? But it grows and grows. I went out to the plaza today, went out to the National Mall, right? I walked around with my son. And I observed these things, okay? And I counted it because I just want to see, where is our country going? Where, when it comes to interracial relationships, right? I can look at numbers and data and studies, and I do, but I observe in the real world where I'm at. I counted 5 interracial couples, right? And I don't know if they're dating or married or what. Black women, white men, 5. I seen one black man with a black woman. Well, I seen one black man with a black woman. He looked biracial. And then I saw a woman that could be white, maybe not, maybe Hispanic with a black man. But that's it. The rest were black women, white men. And I don't know if they're married or dating, but they're holding hands, and you could tell they're a couple, right? But I'm starting to see more Brads with Keishas than Tyrones with Becky's. And it's surprising because back in the day, it was the total opposite. I didn't see one. Well, maybe she was Hispanic, okay? But yeah, but I'm seeing black women with white men more and more every day where I go, places I go to visit. But I'm telling you, I walked around there and I went from the Lincoln Monument to the Washington Monument to the White House to the Vietnam Memorial, all around that place all day, walked around, and we walked quite a bit, right? And I observed and I counted one black man with maybe a Hispanic woman, but 5 black women, white men. Something's going on, guys. People tell me, oh, it's not that many. It's less than 1%. Yeah, because they're counting the white man's percentage, which there's millions more white men than black women. So, of course, the percentage going to be low. That's their trick. They never count the percentage of black women with white men because the numbers would be higher. But I'm telling you, I observe this, and it's a beautiful thing, and I promote it, and I want it to happen more and more. But anyway, hey, I'm going to have to. Hey, Alexander, I see you on. Um, I'll be here to talk to you in a minute. I just got to take a quick bathroom break. I'm sorry, guys. Let me step out real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I agree with what you're saying, and I do agree that I do agree that the men in the Black community is one of the it is the main reason why the Black community is failing, because again, the ego of the Black male is, I would say the ego of the Black man is the main problem. They want to be pimps, they want to sleep with other women and stuff like that, and then, they wind up, and then they want to cheat on their wives and stuff. And I'm like, wait, so Black women were supposed to stay in relationships where the Black man is just going around sleeping with every woman and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. I can't, because at the end of the day, why would a Black woman with a kind heart participate, stay in a marriage like that? Black women want to be loved, not be a side chick, or 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 in a polygamous relationship, which is what the Black men in the community is pushing for. And the thing of it is the Black men who talk trash about Black women don't understand how stupid they sound and how embarrassing they sound.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I think it is the ego. Well, I know it is. Look, and here's the thing: if you love yourself, and I think what's happening is, well, I won't even say they love themselves. It's just the ego and the arrogance is so much that they can't even see the blessing they got in Black women. They can't even, how can you embrace a woman when you can't see the true beauty? You can't see the blessing that's forward. Black women are the most loyal women on earth. And here's the thing. It's not their fault that they're, the least married and the most single mothers. It's the men that are doing it. They are holding out hope all the time. And when they finally open up their options and say, you know what, enough is enough, they find a man that loves them, and we're knocked over head over heels that, like, wow, this woman loves me like that. Look, and here's the thing, ladies, you don't even know where your power is. You've been fighting for Tyrone for so many times, so many years. You've waited for for him to come through. You waited for him to marry you. You've even tried to rebuild him. You even paid for his school. You even made the money. You did it all to be left with nothing. Okay? And the few good ones out there, well, I mean, you're going to have to compete with thousands of women to get that one good guy. Is it worth it, ladies? I'm serious. When you can open up your options and have more wealth, have somebody that loves you, have stability, have a legacy, you don't have to take care of your kids alone. And I'm not speaking for everyone, but look, the numbers don't lie. And the thing of it is why do marriages last longer with white men and black women than black women and black men? Or even white women and white men? Why are we destroying them when it comes to marriage stats? Why? I just, and if a man wants to be successful, he's got to look at the truth and he's got to do some self-reflection. And this collective thing needs to go away, period. If you're a black man and you want to be successful, you got to be an individual. You just do. But you can't put yourself first. And you know what? For a lot of black men, it's too late. You know what? There are black women now that are so divested. It don't even matter what you bring to the table as a black man. It don't matter if she's done with you. I'm just saying, I look and I tell, but can you blame her? She's held up the community. She's taking care of the kids. She's been that single mother and waited for you. And then you downgrade her for being a single mother. And then you shame her for opening up her options because she wants to be loved. She wants marriage. She wants a family. So at this point, and look, my beliefs have changed rapidly because I'm seeing the truth. I'm just, when I used to hear black women say unicorn and say, yeah, that whatever, and say there's not one good one, I'm starting to kind of believe that because I'm just seeing the numbers don't add up. These women are beautiful, successful women settling for less. Why? And I know men are corrupt all over the place, but come on. You have the best women ever. You have the most successful women, the most loving women. You have it all, but yet you throw it away. What, for a body count? To be a player? What's that going to get you? Hitting the wall at 50? And kids that don't know you, don't care about you? I don't know. But anyway, hey, pro-white male leadership, welcome to the panel. Good to see you.
Hey, everybody. I'm not staying long. I'm just saying hello, but absolutely. I agree with everything you guys are saying. At the end of the day, once you truly know the identity of Black men and you know what they're really about, you're going to operate accordingly. That's just really what it is. It's just at the end of the day, Brent, you're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander, he's been around it. He is a Black man, so he sees it. So it's nothing, but I'm just putting it out there. Once you truly see who these men are, it's a whole different other story.
Yeah, and like I said, I wouldn't be saying what I say now. People tell me, man, I talk to people, they say you're getting radical. No, I'm not getting radical. I'm seeing the truth. And and when I listen to Black women say, you know what? There's no good ones, none. I used to think, okay, come on now. You just had a bad experience. You got the wrong one. I believe that. Now I'm starting to say, you know what? Get out, divest, get out, do it. You know what? I'm becoming more of a supporter and a fan of divestment than I've ever have, because I'm seeing the truth. I'm seeing Black women just being totally taken advantage of. And I've seen it through my life, but I never really paid attention. Now my eyes are opening, and I'm looking at Black women, the amazing things they're doing, and these men are just dumping on them. And I've seen it in real life, in real time. And like I said, we have a tendency, if we got a good thing going, we're focused on what's going on in our life, so we don't pay as much attention. But I'm like, wow. And you know what? It's something's going on, and it's not just a few that are just doing this. It's the majority. The more look, and I tell Black women, open up your options. I tell white men, open up your options too. We need to get together. More Black women, more white men. We need to do this. And the good Black men out there, if you're out there, you need to toe the line, and you know, but some of you have lost it. You don't have a chance, and it's going to get more and more as women open up their eyes, as they start seeing the truth. And us white men and non-Black men that say, wow, when we see what Black women are really about, oh, we're going to go seeking more Black women, and now you're going to have to compete. You're going to have to compete with Brad, Chang Lee, and Jose. Black man's going to have to compete for these men. He's not going to have free reign with Black women anymore. This is changing, and it should change. No man, Black men have been spoiled forever. They've been able to, they've had Black women exclusively, and then been able to date Becky, Mei Ling, and Maria, and then come back to the Black community, and Black women are kind of stuck. And white women, kind of the same thing. White men have been, race loyal. They didn't date and marry out. White women, they wanted this, Becky's gone wild, and she wanted to experience Tyrone, and but Black women, white men, we didn't do that. We were too busy taking care of our communities, our counterparts, our families. But now it's a new day, and you know what? Each minute that goes by, there's another interracial marriage going on. There's another interracial couple coming together. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And, until Black women are at the top where they belong, this needs to happen more often. I'm just saying. And I tell you what, I want to be at the top. I want the best. So I chose the Black woman. And guess what? It got me the best. I fly first class. I don't fly coach in the back with Becky and Mei Ling. Sorry. I'm at Keisha in first class. We're drinking champagne and living their best life. Just saying. But that's my thoughts.
Like I said, I'm not going to stay too long. I'm just going to keep it simple because I have a different point of view. I know not everybody agrees with it, but this is so much more deeper than what people believe it is. I'm going to have to definitely do a live on this, on what Black women need to do at this point, because I know what the issue is. I'm not going to say it on your channel, Brent, because, but I'll take that over to my channel. But this is so much deeper than what people think it is and what we need to do as Black women. That's just really what it is at this point. And I'll keep it at that.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like, I was thinking today, and I was walking around DC today, right? And with my son, and we saw that little protest thing, and I was thinking, I just, and maybe I'm just dreaming here, and I'm thinking, seeing white men and Black women just in a big group speaking on our relationships and how we need to do this more often. And I was just like, wow. And then I seen the interracial couple. I'm telling you, it's happening more often, and I get excited when I see it. I just and I told my son, and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, Dad, okay." But seriously, um, it was amazing, and I seen this in my own neighborhood, and 1,900 miles away, I'm seeing it here in Washington D.C. I'm telling you, something's happening. The shift is coming. But anyway, hey, May, welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be with you tonight. You're in DC. That's one of my favorite places in the nation. So that's
Oh,
awesome.
is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a good time. I wish I had more time to do videos and stuff out there, but I got to fly back tomorrow. I was taking my son. He's in the Army, and he's stationed out here in Washington D.C. I don't know how he lands these special assignments. I never could. I ended up in these little towns in nowhere. But he's got it like that though. But yeah, we had a blast. What little time we had, and I mean, yeah, it looks like a nice place. You know, and
Yeah. The last time I was out there was 2012, 2013. So gosh, that was over 10 years ago. And
oh, okay.
it was really, really, I really enjoyed myself. I'm sure it's changed a lot since then. But it was a place of Black excellence. And that was when I, dated Black men and that kind of thing. But I enjoyed myself. I was treated very, very well. And there was a lot of just inspiration everywhere. But I haven't been there since then. So, but anyway, as far as the topic tonight, I think it is exciting. I got a little discouraged earlier today. I was just, for some reason, the YouTube algorithm took me to a bunch of toxic videos. There's so many Black men that have an opinion on Black women, and it's just so perpetual. I mean, just tens of, like, just dozens of videos by these different YouTubers that are just constantly slandering us. And so it's like I try to make sure that I'm reporting those videos and I'm only focusing on divestment and things that are encouraging, but every now and then it'll slip in one of those negative toxic videos, and it's just spiritual warfare. I just have to guard my heart and guard my mind. I think what's really insidious about a lot of Black men is they know how sensitive we are, and they are still continuing this slanderous campaign against our image. It's demonic, and it's just like Satan. Like Satan, he's an accuser, he's a slanderer, and it's just like I just
Yeah.
don't know why they're on this campaign as hard as they are, but it's really sad to watch.
Yeah, and you know what? Think about it though. Black women are a blessing, and Black women look. And the reason Black women get attacked so much, it's Satan, because Black women are a blessing. And I tell you this: if we treat Black women well in our nation, regardless of what your race is, we'll be so blessed. Our nation will be so much better. You got so many Black women that have big hearts that really love deep, and Black women are emotional. They got a lot of emotions, okay? And they try to pin it into them being crazy. It's not crazy. It's just she's got a big heart. Black women have a lot of hearts, so there's going to be a lot of emotions. But if you get to know Black women, you tap into that, and you come to her with true love, you'll feel a love like you've never felt ever. And I found that in my wife. And I don't think people really know how to tap into those emotions, but it is spiritual warfare. Black women are the key really to our nation. I believe that. I mean, and I know people say that's crazy. How can you say that? All women are the key. Yeah, in a way, yes, but Black women, there's something special about Black women. And once I believe we make it right with Black women, if we ever could, I think we'd be better off. I think God would rain blessings on us, because black women are the most spiritual. They're the most loving. And what that is they're more connected to God than any other group. Think about it. So if she's praying to God, talking to God all the time, God's not happy the way she's being treated. So I just and it's disturbing because the men in her community and her group should be the ones defending her the most. If I say black women are beautiful and amazing, I shouldn't have a black man telling me I'm a liar and an idiot. No, he should be saying, yeah, you didn't know that? You can't see the truth? But I don't get that reaction. It's like he wants to try to prove me wrong.
Yeah, it's really demonic.
It is.
And I think a lot of their tactics are backfiring. I think that they are trying to get other races and other demographics to see us the way that they see us. But I've noticed, just shopping the other day with my son, this white woman goes way out of her way to like compliment the way I was smiling at my son. I thought it was the weirdest thing. And so she just is like, the way that you interact with your son and you smile at him, I can just tell that that smile is coming from within. I was like, okay. I was like, are you trying to sell me something? She's like, no, I just want to tell you that. And it's just like these random like little compliments because I think that they see what we're going through and they see the slander and how toxic things are for us. And rather than turning other people against us, I think it's just making other people more sympathetic to us. And so
and that happens. I always said that there's I've always said there's a tale of two Beckys, and there's the one that's jealous of the black woman that don't want her around, and then there's the one that's sweet that actually with love. I mean I've dealt with both. And in my family, I've dealt with the women in my family that embrace my wife and think it's the most beautiful thing in the world, and there's others that despise it and think it's wrong. It's like they're either one way or the other, I would say.
Well, I think also, I mean, I think that they're getting, like Cynthia G says, they're getting the same black man. So it's no longer a flex because a lot of black women honestly, truly, and deeply do not desire black men anymore. Like it's not even something that we're pretending to say or something that we're just like, that it's a defense mechanism. Like I honestly get a little not upset, but a little sad when I see black couples. And it's not because, I don't want to see black couples. It's just like, I prefer at this point, it's weird to say, but I prefer to see black women with white men and black men with white women. I just prefer that because I know that our relationship dynamics are toxic. So with that mentality, I've noticed this in myself. When I see an interracial couple out and it is a white woman, like I'm happy. Like I don't want that black man with a black woman. I don't want her to have, increased domestic violence outcomes or to be called out of her name or to be financially abused. So I'm like, thank you. And so it's a weird space to be in, but I also think that white women who are very intelligent women are seeing that as well. So it's like they can no longer have that leverage over us. But black men are kind of not as intelligent, so they're trying to continue this triangulation smear campaign, but it's just not. I mean, as time goes on, they're going to eventually see it's just not going to work.
Yeah, I get kind of like that, and I've never had a problem with black men with white women. I've been encouraged seeing that. I was like, I remember when I was little, I seen it. I was like, wow. And when you're little, you see things and you take it in, and kids are innocent, right? They just think of it. And back in the day, I always thought Donna Summer, back when I was little, was amazing. That was my dream girlfriend, right? When I was little. And, I looked at black men with white women, and an idea came in my head. A light bulb just lit up. I was like, can I do what they do with black women? I mean, I thought about that. And then I thought, well, are they the only ones allowed to do that? I mean, that stuff would pop in my head. And it was like, I don't know, does this sound weird? Like there's hope for me. If they can do it, then maybe I can. Maybe there's you know, I don't know, but I always thought that. And then, and I always love seeing interracial couples, black women, white men, and I notice this stuff. Is it weird that I look around and I see it and I get happy that I see it, even though I don't know these people? It just like it's like encouraging, even though it don't affect my life personally. I think it's good. I think it's neat. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I notice it. And well, I too, when black women do amazing things and good things are happening, I'll be happy for them and not even know them. It's like there's a love there and it's from my life experience and the black women I've been around in my life, up to my wife. And it's like, I just have that love. I might not know you, but I feel something. Does that make sense? I mean,
100%, 100%. And I think for a lot of Black women, there's a lot of admiration for what white guys have been able to accomplish. I know, watching the History Channel, like The Men Who Built America. I don't know if you ever saw that docuseries. Amazing, like amazing. So they went through Vanderbilt and Henry Ford and like freaking Carnegie and Rockefeller and like the history of how like oil and metal and steel and railroads and just how all of that was really just pioneered by white guys in the middle of nowhere. And it did give me an admiration for just the productivity and the fortitude of a lot of white men, and that speaks to their character. And so I think as Black women continue to like get educated and to be in spaces around white men, they'll see those characteristics and really admire them and start leaving the whole swag and like this like caricature of masculinity that we've been attracted to, because that's not real manhood. It's just phony.
Yeah, that swag thing. But you know what? There's swag in everything. Look, and I thought about this. Okay, there's swag. What? The way he walks, dresses. I mean, I thought, couldn't a white man that's working for a corporation, a CEO that dressed in fine suits, that conducts himself well, that speaks well, that takes care of his woman, like his wife, like, just shows her love and appreciation. To me, that's swag right there. I mean, maybe there's a different name for that than swag, where we think of swag is just the pimp player type image. But, I think that image is attractive, just showing love. I mean, what's always attracted me to Black women was, and I know this is maybe not swag, but is Black women, their traditional values, and Black women that are professional and how they dress. Now, a Black woman that has always made me fall in love is the one that has that sweetness, that, dresses not just looks professional and loving. I don't have to see, she can be in like one of those how can I say it? One of those Victorian dresses that covers her whole body, right? But she just looks beautiful. She's amazing. That's attractive. I don't have to see her body shape or, that's really what catches my heart, and how she talks, how she presents herself. I remember seeing back in the day Condoleezza Rice, how she would talk. She was just eloquent. She was just professional. That to me is so attractive. And in fact, I had so much respect for her, I named my youngest daughter after Condoleezza Rice. I mean, this is what I love about Black women, the professional, the traditional values. That's what really captures my heart. And she don't have to be, you know, banging beautiful. She can be the everyday Black woman, but she carries that image. I'm in love. I'm just, and I've talked about this so many times. And, you know, and I've heard women say that about men, but us men, we think that way too, really. And Black women have a way of just carrying themselves in a certain way that no other women can. And you put that together with her inner beauty with her outer beauty, and she's unique with her beauty. The Black woman is different from any woman on this earth, just by the skin tone, just by her hair, just by how she carries herself. And that, to me, that captured my heart. And I'm telling you, and you know, image, it does mean a lot. And then when you get to know her, and man, you're just in love. And I've never heard many white men that have dated Black women say, "Oh, I'm going back to Becky because Black women ain't doing it for me." No, they never come back. They get with a Black woman, it's done. They're with Black women, even if their marriages fail, even if their relationships aren't good, they'll go get another Black woman. And I've seen this over and over and over and over again. I haven't seen one that's dated a Black woman come back. I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but I don't see it. And maybe that's the Black woman swag. I don't know, just the professional, the traditional values, the personality.
For sure, yeah, and I think it's the same, and I think that's why there's so much resistance against that union, because like I was married to a white guy, and I will not go back. It's just there's too great of a contrast between the two races as far as the men are concerned in relationships, and so yeah, I think that's definitely true. My ex-husband, I don't see him going back to white women. He hasn't remarried, and I don't think he's interested in remarrying. But when I think of like high school sweethearts, like guys that I dated in high school, most of them married Black women now, like when you look on Facebook and you see like what they're doing now, they're all like married to Black women. So this is like guys in high school and middle school. So there is something powerful and beautiful there. It's just
It is. And I would say the Black woman, you touch her heart, it's done. It belongs to you. I'm telling you. I gave my heart to Black women in 1974 when I was 5 years old. I had a babysitter that showed me love and kindness. And I was done, and I'm a child. And look, when you touch our heart, Black women, it belongs to you. All you got to do is touch it. It's yours. It's done. There's no competition at that point. Seriously. And and the amazing thing is when we get together, our marriages last. And I give Black women the credit for that because of their love, their nurturing, their beautiful spirit. I mean, you can't beat it. So, I mean, we'd be fools to not want that, and Black women bring the best out of us. They do. I've done things I never thought I could accomplish, but my wife just tells me, she has faith in me and believes in me. And it's like she makes me believe I can do what I can't do. It's weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's a blessing, but it's like, wow, and that's what Black women have. And the men that don't know this haven't been around Black women. And I tell Black women, they say, well, where are the white men at? When are they going to come around? Well, they don't know you. They don't even think they have a chance with you. And I'm telling you, and they're not going to go to the hood to look for a black woman. That's silly. Some guy said, "Well, I don't see white men going to the hood." Well, of course they're not going to do that. There's plenty of black women in all neighborhoods. They're going to go for the black women in their neighborhood where they live in their community. They don't need to go other places for that. So if you're in that situation, you got to be where these men are. And I tell black women, and sometimes I get this so many times, they say, okay, well, if what you're saying is true, there's not white men approaching. Well, where are you at? Do you get out much? Are you around these men you want to approach you? Do they notice you? Do they see you? I think a lot of it, they expect white men to approach like a black man, and that ain't going to happen. We're just different cultures, a different way of doing things. And then put in that barrier where we don't think you like us. So it's going to be, because we believe that. We always have that black woman that says it's black men or nothing. They don't care how it ends up. And I tell white men and non-black men, don't believe that crap. That's one woman. She's caught up in the emotion.
I did find it interesting though. I think I was listening to, I don't know how I stumbled on this channel, but I was listening to Tariq Nasheed, and he's on this whole tirade of like FBA and like reparations and all this crap.
Yeah.
And he was talking on like a Twitter space to some, like, I guess different white guys will call in and like have rebuttals to reparations.
Yeah.
And Tariq Nasheed is ignorant, but he started talking about how, because they started like fighting and like trying to like talk down on each other. And Tariq Nasheed, of course, goes in on how like black men are taking white women and white women are addicted to black men for sex and stuff. And then the white guy's response is like, well, your women are leveling up and they want us and da da da. So it's almost like, and this is just a random white guy, so it's almost like it's getting out and like white guys are aware that black women are interested. Because I'm like, how in the heck does this guy who listens to Tariq Nasheed and, because I thought divestment was small, but like for this like white guy to like know about leveling up and divestment, it was fascinating.
You know why? We're listening, we're observing, and don't kid yourself. Once we feel we have a chance with black women, we're coming. We're going to compete once, and that's what's happening. And that's why a lot of black men are upset with the divestment thing and the swirling thing, and because they see a shift happening. They see white men saying, you know what? The black woman, and here's the thing, we know more about the black community than you think, and we don't have to live in it. We know black women are being mistreated. We know this. We know black women, some black women are fed up, they're divesting, and we see this. And we see black women falling on the sword for black men. And this is what catches our eye, because we start thinking, wow, if she loves him that much and he's not doing anything, how about if I come with some resources and I come with love and I appreciate her? Yes. Can I win her heart over? And can I have that love? Because if I have that love, there's nothing we can't accomplish. And that's what's happening, because black women have been carrying the community for so long, and white men have been carrying their community. And let's be honest, our counterparts are taking us for granted and have been for several years, well, even centuries, because white women have been taken care of. They've been put on that pedestal. They've been told they're the most beautiful woman on earth, that they're everything. And black women, the same thing. They put black men on that pedestal, and they told him he's the most desired, the most everything. Black love is everything. And you know what? And then our counterparts get so used to being well taken care of that they take us for granted. Like, that's just what we're supposed to do. I and that's what's going on. And we're like, enough is enough. White men are starting to date out more and more. White men date and marry out more than white women, if you didn't know that. And it's growing. White men have seeked out Hispanic women, Asian women, black women. White men want something new right now, and there's a shift going. That's why Asian women are married to white men more than Asian men, because white men are seeking something different. They're seeking, I think, someone that appreciates them more. So they're going elsewhere. Hispanic women, white men are marrying more Hispanic women, and we're marrying more black women too. And I would tell black women, look at what's going on. If you want to be with a white guy, you can have a Brad. Look, if you could be the most educated woman on earth, you can have a Brad. It's not that hard. We're not. We love you more than you even know, and if you give us a chance, we'll. A lot of us will give you everything. We just want, you touch our heart, we're done. Stick a fork in us, and we'll give you our heart. And.
For sure, yeah. I do think that they, Tariq Nasheed and all of these different guys, they do sense that shift happening, and it is, I'm sure it's got to be scary to have a race of women be as loyal as Black women have been for centuries. To see that change, that's got to be shocking. But I was also encouraged when I saw, I don't know if I was reading this or I heard that one of the traits that men value most in women is their loyalty. And to be known as such a loyal group of women, I think that's a positive thing. And so if we divest and we take our loyalty to white men, that explains why the marriages work out. Because when we ride for you and you do right by us, like, we're not going anywhere, like nowhere.
Yeah. And I think that's the secret to success with a black woman is just be a man, do what you're supposed to as a man, and show her that you love her, and you're set. I think with most black women, it's that way. Now, is there corrupt black women out there? Yeah, sure. You might get the wrong one that takes advantage of you. It happens. But really, in most cases, you show her love, and if she's got attraction to you, that goes so far. She'll appreciate you. Just look, when I was dating my wife, she would give me praise for paying for the dates, and I was just like, okay. She was, showing me love because I paid for our date. I took her to dinner and paid for it, like. And I was confused because I was raised, that's what I'm supposed to do. But just doing what you're supposed to as a man a lot of times gets you a long ways. Because my wife, I was the first white guy she dated, and she would tell me how she would have to pay for part of the meal, and it was like a 50-50 date thing. Like, what? I thought about that. And my wife is, she grew up in an upper middle class neighborhood, a good neighborhood. She had both her mother and father, went to church. These men she were dating were supposed to be men of faith, and she had to pay part of it. I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of things are coming full circle. I think even with the recent passing of Tina Turner and how she lived her life, and just the exposure of like how abusive Ike was, and then seeing how abusive so many Black men are to Black women on the internet. It's like you're just seeing this like confluence of ideas happening at the same time. And so her passing away and then her being almost like a champion, like a pioneer of divestment, it just underscores that we should have made these moves a long time ago. But to see like how she lived her life, she died in peace. She died, just happy. It took courage for her to do what she did all the way back then, when it was not popular. But I mean, at least she kind of gave us a roadmap to make those same types of moves, for ourselves and for our own mental and spiritual health.
Yeah, yeah, she did, and you know, but I see women, black women, later on in life opening up their options. I'm seeing a lot more do that. I have black women that email me like in their 50s, 60s, some in their 70s saying they want to open up their options and they'll ask me advice on dating white men and stuff. And I just, I tell them the best advice I can give. I'm not a dating coach or an expert in that. I just tell them what worked for me and my wife. But I'm seeing it, and it's like black women are opening up their options. And I see white men, elderly white men marrying elderly black women. This is a thing that's happening. This happened in my church. He's a white guy and she's a black woman, and they're in their 60s. They're both widowers and never been in an interracial marriage, and they got married. They found that their company, they have good company together. They have a love for each other, and they would never have done it in their younger days, but they're doing it now. And then I'm seeing a lot more younger couples doing it all over. I mean, me and my wife see it, and I think it's such a beautiful thing, and I observe this, and it makes me happy. And my wife, she gets emotional. I mean, we went to an arena football game, right? And I'm 53, my wife's 54, we got kids and grandkids. So we've been married 29 years. So, but we went to this arena football game, right? And we saw this young couple. He was white, she was black. And he was hugging on her like I was hugging on my wife. It was like it was weird. It was like we would look at each other through a mirror and see just different ages. But we noticed each other and we waved at each other. It was so neat. And we talked, and my wife got emotional. She says, "That's us 30 years ago." And I was like, "Oh yeah." We remember when we were young like that, before we got married. And it's like we're passing the torch, like the Lovings passed the torch to us. We're passing it to the younger people. And you could see love there. Even though they're young, you could see they're happy.
And that's the thing that I think I noticed, and this will be my last little tidbit, and I have to get ready for bed. But I think what I noticed as a little girl, because I have been attracted to white men for a very long time, but what I noticed is that even in the music and just the relationships that you can pick up on as a young kid, there just seems to be more nobility in the relationships that white men and black women have versus black men and white women. It just seems more lustful. Even if it's black women and black men, it's like more lustful, more like just less honorable, less classic, less godly, more sensual, more fleshly, more lustful. And I think every woman, regardless of race, wants something honorable. Yes, we're human, and yes, we have, like hormones, and everyone wants the passion as well. But I think in the heart of every woman is a desire for something honorable and noble. And unfortunately, you just don't see that promoted with black men. And so I think that is something that it doesn't get talked about or expressed, but it is something that I think is another reason why it's growing, divestment's growing.
I think that is a reason. And I think what you were saying, it seems more lustful, sensual, and all that. But they cheapen it too when they do that, because I think when we get to that point where we get to the intimacy part, the love is already there. I think it just it makes it better. It makes it more godly, and it makes. I mean, I don't think when we get intimate in our group, it's better. I know it is because we have true love. It goes deeper. It's not just a physical act, it's spiritual too. And when you get into love, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical, and you put it all together and you have it all, every little part of that love is better. Our physical part is going to be better than theirs because it's true, it's pure, and you know what I mean. And I know what you're saying, and I believe that too. It's like there's the physical without the emotions, without the spiritual, without. You know what I mean? Sorry, I thought I got kicked off, but I think that's what it is. And when you love somebody with true love, all the areas come together, and we don't have to, and it's a natural thing. Like you said, the hormone, they come, there's a time and place for that. But if you do it right, your love will be deep and it'll mean something. Every bit of part of your love will be right. There will be no regrets. And I think that's the strength we have.
For sure. Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure. I
Thank you so
hope
much.
you have a good night, and I appreciate you allowing me to share my thoughts.
Oh, no, I appreciate you sharing them. And you're welcome here anytime. And it's good to talk to you. And I enjoyed the discussion.
For sure.
And you take care and have a good night.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. All right, Alexander. How's it going, buddy?
I was on here, I had to switch from my phone to the tablet.
Yeah, I saw you come in twice, so I figured that's what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand her viewpoint as well. And I do think that it's funny to me how the pro-black, because I was on Twitter today, and somebody, will, and somebody, posted a black man, and here, and here's the thing: the black man, was telling. Well, he was telling black women were only the only purpose is to get reparations, but but he is one of those hypocrites who is dating a white woman. And that's when in my head it started to really sink in with me, as in, why do black women still want to be race loyal when you see when black men are saying they're saying stuff like, oh, you're not marriage material, you're only for breeding purposes and stuff like that. I mean, why black women continue to be race loyal to black men, I will never know. But at the end of and also at the end of the day, I'm happy for Khalees because she's now dating Bill Murray, and I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Khalees is dating Bill Murray. Wow. Wow, that's what I started seeing Khalees on there. Like, what's going on with Khalees? Okay, wow. Okay, so hey, good for her. And yeah, well, that that's awesome. I didn't know that. Wow, you know what? I've been off the net for a while. I just took a trip from New Mexico um to Washington DC. It was that 1900 miles. Me and my son drove. Oh my god. And we took the northern route. We went through, I'll tell you the states we went through. We started in New Mexico, went through Texas, Oklahoma, uh Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia, Washington D.C. Yeah, it was like I drove across the country. Um, yeah, so I haven't been watching YouTube for a little while, um, but I was, excited to get on tonight. I just wanted to do my Black Lives Matter story. That's coming. That's falling apart. But I always raise that question: where is, with Black Lives Matter, where is the love for Black women? Where is the fight for Black women? I get it; they fought for George Floyd, but what about the Black women that were the accidental shootings with Black women, the unaliving things that happened? What about them? I can't. Well, I think it's male worship is what I think it is, but anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. I know it's not a popular thing, and people are going not like what I had to say, but the truth is the truth, and I'm going to tell you how I feel. And you know what? If you love Black women, you got to stand up for Black women, and that means standing up to organizations like Black Lives Matter, Black men, and you got to. You cannot truly love a Black woman if you won't defend her. And that means defending her from her own group of men at times. Um, you know, and these groups out there that claim they're for Black people, which they're not. I mean, tell me they are. I just, but anyway, that's, yeah, Black Lives Matter has Black men lives matter. That's what it is. It's a sham. And well, it's all not just Black Lives Matter, but LGBTQ lives matter too. You throw that in there too. The LGBT community has co-opted the Black struggle forever. I mean, look, I'm a white man and I see the crap that's going on. And why Black people would allow them to do that, I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and BLM. I agree with Faith Grace. BLM does have selective outrage. Because think about when a Black woman gets killed, it gets unalived by the police or a man of another race, they always march. But when it comes to the Black man doing that, you barely see marches for them.
Yeah.
Case in point. Is there was a Black woman here in South Carolina that was unalived by a Black man because she wouldn't answer his text. And then he said if he was to do it over again, he would have unalived her father as well. So that tells me that BLM is not for Black women, and it's definitely not for, and it's definitely only for Black men. Oh, we gotta protect the Black men for, oh, we gotta protect the Black man from, the police brutality and all that other stuff. And that to me sounds like that to me sounds like Black male worship. And it's funny that you have people saying that Black male worship doesn't exist when it does. It's funny. It really is at the end of the day. So
Yeah, it is. And the thing of it is, nobody checks it. Nobody points it out. It's like, it just, I don't know. It is selective outrage. And like I said, I think the only time things happen with BLM is if it's a Black man and a white cop. I think that's just their thing. It's got to be that dynamic. Because even if it's a white cop and Black woman, it's like silence. They don't care. It's like it. And why don't they call it Black man's life matters? I mean, and the thing of it is, wasn't it started by Black women? Well, I guess because they're lesbian, they don't care. I don't know. I don't get it. They're falling apart. They're going down, and that it's not surprising. There was no organization anyway. They were just making money and enjoying their wealth. Now it's going to be taken away. And nothing good came from it. You know what? They made a statue of George Floyd and gave him a golden casket. Okay, what's that doing for Black people? I mean, what about the Black women that are unalive? None of their family got rich. None of their children, got the big payday. The Black woman didn't get the golden casket. She didn't get all the. And I'm thinking, wow. But it is what it is. But it's sad and it's disgusting. And Black women, with all this that's going on, need to put themselves first. Black women, you got to pick the man that's best for you. You got to pick the best situation for you. Because nobody's doing nothing for Black women. Nobody. Their husbands that love them, they'll protect them. But in the collective, what are people doing for Black women? Seriously, let's think about that. You say, well, when they open up their options, the man they marry will protect them and love them. Okay, but what's our nation doing for Black women? What's our communities doing for Black women? Is anybody doing anything for Black women? Are Black women doing anything for Black women? Seriously, think about that. It's like they're left by themselves. It's like there's no. It seems like racism only applies to Black men. Black women, it don't. I've seen white men trash Black women and nobody holds them accountable. But yet you have a conversation with a Black man that you don't agree with, you're racist automatic. But Black women you could trash and nobody checks you for it. Seriously. I've seen it. And that to me is disgusting. If anybody should be protected, it's the women. Period. End of story. Men are tough. They can take a beat down. Women, no, we protect women. They're the treasure. They're you know, they're our wives and the mother of our children. Why don't we protect women? But you got these beta kings that have children with black women but won't stand up for black women. They expect black women to stand up for them. You know? But anyway, my thing is I wanted to put, Black Lives Matter and talk about the hypocrisy and what's going on from what I see. Now, I don't know everything that goes on in that organization or what happened, but I do know this. They're losing money right and left. And I don't think they're going to be around much longer. There'll be some offshoot organizations that'll carry the name. There'll probably be somebody that comes in and try to make some money when something happens. But other than that, I don't think they'll be what they were. And they had a cash cow that would last for 100 years if they knew how to work it, but they don't. Anyway.
Yeah, I legitimately understand, and like I said, and like I said on the live about the FBI statistics, they don't lie, and I wish all the pro-blacks would stop, trying to say, oh, well, they're just hating on black men. They painting a stereotype. When the black man paints the stereotype himself. When I'm just when are the excuses for black men gonna stop? Because this is just the excuses is just
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing of it is, if you're doing what you're supposed to as a man, you don't need an excuse. If you're doing right by the women you're with, there will be no excuse. No excuse needed. They need excuses because they're not doing what's right. That's why there's so many excuses, because they need them. If you're doing what you're right, doing what you should as a man, you're not going to think of an excuse. There's not going to be you're just going to be, but when there's no accountability, you need excuses. When you can't compete, you need an excuse. I mean, and it's not that they can't compete. A lot of them, they're lazy. Black women have been taking care of these guys forever. Their mama took care of them. Now the girlfriends have, and they're living in her apartment while she makes most of the money. And they get used to that. And guess what? Then if they don't perform, it's an excuse. And black women are, you show them some love and you try, she'll be there for you. I'm sorry, I'm having like a late dinner, but seriously, you show a black woman love and you do what you're supposed to as a man, she's going to lift you up to make you better than you were. And you know what? When it comes down to it, she'll be better and you'll be better. And you both climb together. But when she has to do all the work and take care of you and the kids, then you're just another child in her home and just an extra burden. Instead of a provider, you're being provided for. And that's what's happening a lot of times. And when you give a man excuse, you destroy the man. Seriously. Excuses only make failure comfortable. That's all an excuse does. An excuse don't help you. An excuse, it just makes you feel good in your failure. That's all it does. Oh, well, I couldn't do that because of this. If you don't give him the excuse, guess what? He has to do better. Guess what? If you can't fall back on excuse, there's no way but to move forward. When there's not an excuse, failure is not an option. But when you have excuses and it's never your fault, you'll never get better. And I always wondered why my father would always, he was hard on me. He would point out the faults I had, and he would, to a T, he said, you did this wrong. You're lacking here. You're wrong here. You need to do this better. You messed up here. And I just think, dang, my dad just hates me. He just points out everything I do wrong. But it wasn't hate, it was love. He was telling me, you got a lot of problems. You got a lot of stuff you need to correct. And guess what? If I don't have that excuse, what I do? I have to do better. I have to compete. And my father made me to where I'm competitive instead of walking around with an excuse. You know, sometimes it's, and I know this sounds weird and crazy, but sometimes it's a good thing for it to be your fault because you know you need to do better. I'm not saying do the wrong thing so you be at fault to fix it, but what I'm saying is you're held accountable, and when you're held accountable, you have to do better. You know, when you hold your kids accountable for the grades they make in school, guess what? They'll do better because there's consequences. But if you give them an excuse, say, well, you tried real hard. I know you got a D minus, but at least you tried. Yeah, the teacher don't like you. And, you know, yeah. Then you guess what? He'll be a D minus his whole life. He'll be a failure. He'll be mediocre. And you know what? You give him enough excuses, he'll be a flat out failure. Excuses, you know, and I'm not saying there are things that happen you can't control. I get it. You know, but be careful with that because an excuse, you might get an excuse. You couldn't, you know, it wasn't your fault, but guess what? Then it happens again and again. And you know what? Then you feel comfortable in your failure because it's not your fault. Then you don't, even though you're a failure, you don't see yourself as a failure. But at the end of the day, you're a failure. I mean, it just, you know, but anyway, it's getting late. I just wanted to talk about this. The Black Lives Matter, I wanted to put that out there, talk about that. I know that's not a popular thing. And then the crack pipe thing. What is going on with that? People, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that either.
Yes. Yeah, it's all craziness, but my thing is if what we need to do is hold each other accountable, stand up for Black women. If we love Black women, we stand up for them, right? We do. We protect them. Even if you're a white guy, you're going to have to stand up to Black men to protect Black women. You just have to. There's no way around it. And, you know, you might even have to stand up to other Black women attacking Black women. It is what it is. But if you love Black women, you got to stand up for them. You got to show them love. You got to give them that respect. You know, and there's a spiritual thing going on. Black women are a blessing, and the devil's going to attack Black women because, you know, I think they're the key to so many things. You know, but I could talk about this all night. I'm going to have to go and get ready for bed. I got to catch a flight tomorrow.
All right, Brett. I'm gonna drop down. You have I want to thank you for letting me on and getting my words out.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And I would still support you no matter what. And I gotta get going too, because I also have a live that I'm going to do at 11 in the morning. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Well, Alexander, I appreciate you coming on, and I know you got a good heart, man. And okay, well, he dropped off, but I just want to say, Alexander, he's got a good heart, and look, he loves Black women, and he's sticking up for Black women. And it's, guys, if you know Alexander, he's got a good heart, and he's doing what's right, and he takes a lot of flack for that. He does. People go in on him like no tomorrow. Okay. But he's fighting the good fight. And, you know, we need to fight the good fight. And look, Black women, you are more precious and valuable than you know. And those of us that are married to you, dating you, we need to treat you with the utmost respect. And if you're with a man, a non-Black man that ain't doing right, you need to check him. You don't need to be with the white dusty, okay? You need to be with a man that loves you, that puts you first. And you'll know, because if he really loves you, there ain't going to be no doubt. You will be first class all the way. You'll see him doing without to make you happy, okay? And that's what you want. Because look, us as men, we're supposed to put in the work. We're supposed to put in the sacrifice. Okay? That's our job. All right? And if he loves you, he'll do that. It'll be automatic. It'll be natural. And if you love him, you'll support him and make him better than he thought he would be. You have that power. And that's the dynamic that's making us the power couple. Black women, white men, they come together. They're making things happen. They're not waiting for things to happen. They're not standing around with excuses. They're making it happen. That's why they're the power couple. Black women, white men, we don't have time for excuses. We don't have time to blame somebody else. We got to make it happen now. Black women, you don't have time for excuses. You got to carry your community, take care of your kids, and you need to make it happen. And you ain't got time to blame everybody else because the load is on your shoulders. Same thing with white men. We can't look for an excuse. No one's going to give us one anyway, and that's actually a blessing because that makes failure not an option. Huh? That's what makes us a power couple. Because failure to us is not an option. We have to make things happen. There are two types of people in this world. People that wait for things to happen and people that make things happen. Which one are you? I always say that. I remember going to the promotion board. to get my E5 stripes. I remember my platoon sergeant said, look, there are two types of people in this world. Those that wait for things to happen and those that make things happen. Which one are you? Are you going to get this? You're going to be successful? Are you going to wait for somebody to give it to you? That's life. Black women aren't waiting for things to happen. They're making things happen. That's why they're the most educated. I'm telling you, Black women are successful in the corporate world. Why? Because they're making things happen. They're not waiting for things to happen. A lot of beta kings, they're waiting for somebody to help them out, somebody to take care of them. It never happens. Maybe they'll get lucky and somebody will help them out, but usually they hit the wall. But Black women are making things happen. Least amount of resources, but yet the most successful. So anyway, I'm going to close this, but think about what I said. Which person are you? Do you make things happen or do you wait for things to happen? It's kind of like faith, right? You pray for it, but you got to put in the work. You got to make it happen too. You know, there's things you can't make happen, but you still got to put in the work. Then God blesses, right? But he ain't going to bless you sitting on the couch. He's going to bless you when you work and you pray to him. But that's why our marriages last longer, because we make things happen. We don't wait for things to happen. But anyway, you guys have a good night. We've been on for 3 hours. Wow. Okay, I better get to bed. I got to catch a flight tomorrow. Guys, you have a good night. God bless you. I'll see you soon. I'm looking at probably Wednesday going live again. So I'm looking at a roasting session. I got a couple candidates I need to go in on, but anyway, and my roasting, when I do it, they deserve it. I don't just roast people just to do it. They've either attacked our community, attacked Black women. You know, it's something like that. They deserve it. Let me put it that way. I don't attack Gina's decor channel. I don't do that. But if they attack Black women or divestment or investment or interracial relationships, then I go in. Okay? But they deserve it. It's not, but it's good to roast some people sometimes. They need it. Okay? Tonight was kind of like a roasting on Black Lives Matter. Okay? It was a news story, but you know, got to put the truth out there. But anyway, have a good night. I'll see you guys soon. Okay? Look for me Wednesday. I'll put the information out there, but have a good night. God bless.